Right, picture the scene. You're in the zone. Utterly magnificent focus. The mind is a finely tuned instrument, and you're conducting a symphony of progress on that important project. The pieces are clicking into place, the words are flowing, the code is coding. You're in that glorious state of deep work where you feel like you could wrestle a bear and win. And then, bam, out of absolutely nowhere, a thought pops into your head that is so far from work appropriate it might as well be on another planet. It lands in your mind with the subtlety of a dropped piano. And just like that, the momentum is gone. The crystal clear focus you had moments ago has shattered, replaced by a dull, nagging hum of distraction. Your energy, once a laser beam, is now leaking all over the floor. You're caught in a mental loop, a daydream that can gobble up 10, 20, even 30 minutes of your life before you even realize what's happened. If you're serious about your goals, if you're trying to build something, achieve something, you know that focus is your superpower. It's the currency of genius. It's the secret sauce of success. And every time it gets nicked, a bit of your potential gets nicked along with it. The good news is, you can shut these urges down the moment they arrive. The even better news? It's got nothing to do with shame, guilt, or having the willpower of a saint. This isn't about fighting some bloody, unwinnable war in your own head. It's about having the right tricks up your sleeve. In this video, I'm going to show you the evidence-based methods, the psychological tools to break this cycle instantly. We're going to reframe this entire problem. This isn't a moral failing. It's a performance problem. It's an energy leak. And we are going to plug that leak so you can get your clarity back, protect your focus, and stop these daydreams from wrecking the future you're trying to build. Section 1. The sneaky thief of your focus. Let's be brutally honest for a second. How many times has this happened? You've been on fire, completely dialed in, only to be completely derailed by this specific, insidious brand of distraction? Think about the last time it pulled you away from something important. What could you have done with those stolen minutes? What brilliant idea was just around the corner, lost in the fog that followed? The frustration is real, but the real damage is how it quietly eats away at your productivity and your trust in yourself. Every time we let our focus get hijacked, we're subtly teaching our brain that our big goals are less important than a fleeting, silly urge. We're literally training ourselves to be distractible. To fix this, we need to understand what we're actually up against. This isn't some mystical force or a flaw in your character. It's biology and psychology doing a little dance. These urges are rooted deep in the brain's reward system. Some early researchers in affective neuroscience even gave this primal circuit a rather on-the-nose name: the lust system, one of several core emotional drivers found in mammals. It's ancient, it's powerful, and it's hardwired to chase what it thinks is a reward. Modern neuroscience shows us this system is fueled by neurotransmitters like dopamine. Think of dopamine as the chemical of motivation, the little molecule that shouts, "Oi, pay attention. This could be good for you." When an intrusive sexual thought appears, your brain gets a signal that a potentially high-reward, low-effort prize is on offer. It's a rush of what you could call cheap dopamine. It's unearned. It takes no skill, no effort, no grit. It's the mental equivalent of a greasy kebab at 3 a.m. Now, compare that to the dopamine you get from achieving something difficult. The satisfaction of finishing a tough workout, completing a chapter of your book, solving a complex problem, that's earned dopamine. It's lasting. It builds self-esteem. It reinforces the idea that you're someone who can do hard things. The problem is, our brains are lazy beggars. They love the path of least resistance. Cheap dopamine is easy. Earned dopamine is hard. And so, when that intrusive thought pops up, your brain's motivational circuits, the very ones you need to stay focused on your work, get hijacked. They're diverted from the difficult, long-term goal towards the easy, short-term temptation. This is why I call it a mental parasite. It leeches your most valuable cognitive resources. It eats up your attention, which is finite. It drains your willpower. We often think of willpower as a muscle that gets tired, but recent science suggests it might be a bit more like a finicky Wi-Fi signal. When the connection drops, you're out of luck. It clutters up your working memory, the mental whiteboard you use to solve problems. After the urge fades, you're not just back where you started. You're worse off. You're left with a focus hangover, a period of mental fatigue where getting back into the flow feels like pushing a car uphill. The momentum is dead. So, let's reframe this whole battle. This isn't about being good or bad. This is about high performance. This is about protecting your cognitive assets. Your focus, your energy, and your time are the three pillars you will build your entire life on. Lust, when it becomes an unchecked habit, is a direct assault on all three. It's the silent killer of productivity. And seeing it this way is the first step. You're not fighting a demon. You're fixing a strategic problem. You're plugging an energy leak. And once you see it that way, you can start using the right tools to sort it out. Section 2. The utter futility of fighting lust. So, what's the natural reaction when an unwanted thought appears? We try to fight it. We try to suppress it. Don't think about that. Stop it. Think about football or spreadsheets. Anything but that. We try to use sheer force of will to boot the thought out of our head. And how's that been working out for you? If you're like most people, it's a spectacular own goal. Not only does it fail, it often makes the thought even more powerful and persistent. There's a classic psychological experiment that perfectly shows this. Try it with me now. For the next 10 seconds, whatever you do, do not think of a white bear. Don't picture its fur, don't imagine its nose, and absolutely do not think about it riding a unicycle. What just happened? You immediately thought of a unicycling white bear, didn't you? This is known as ironic process theory or the white bear problem, after a similar experiment by social psychologist Dr. Daniel Wegner. His research found that when we try to suppress a thought, one part of our brain does try to push it away, but another, ironic part of our brain starts scanning for the thought to make sure we're not thinking it. In doing so, it keeps bringing the forbidden thought back to our attention. When you try to fight lust, you're triggering this exact mechanism. By declaring war on the thought, you are making it massively important. You're shining a giant spotlight on it. You're screaming to your brain. This thing is so significant we must use enormous energy to fight it. This struggle creates tension, and that tension gives the thought a forbidden, magnetic allure. You're not starving the thought. You're feeding it rocket fuel, your focused attention. Think of it like being caught in quicksand. Your instinct is to thrash about violently, but the struggle is what makes you sink faster. The real solution is to stop struggling, relax, and deliberately find your way to solid ground. The same principle applies here. This battle isn't won with brute force. It's won with strategy. Every time you get into a mental wrestling match with an urge, you are losing. Even if you win, you've still lost. You've lost your focus. You've lost your energy. You've been dragged out of your productive flow and into a draining internal squabble. The battle is the distraction. The goal is not to win the fight. The goal is to sidestep the fight altogether. So, we need a new approach. A new core idea. You don't fight lust, you replace it. You don't suppress the energy, you redirect it. You don't try to dam the river, you dig a new channel for it to flow through. This is a fundamental shift. It moves you from defense to offense. You're no longer a victim of your thoughts, waiting for the next attack. You become an active architect of your mental state. It's a pivot from conflict to creation. This isn't about becoming someone who never has these thoughts. It's about becoming someone for whom those thoughts are a minor, insignificant blip because you are so powerfully focused on something more compelling. The war on lust is a trap. The way out is to simply refuse to fight and choose a better game to play. Section 3. The foundation, sorting out your environment. Before we get into the in-the-moment techniques, we have to lay the groundwork. You can't build a fortress on a swamp. If you're trying to build laser-like focus in an environment that is practically designed to distract you, you're setting yourself up for a fall. The first, most crucial step is to become the ruthless curator of your own environment. Make it easy to focus and a right pain to get distracted. This begins with finding and systematically removing your triggers. A trigger is any cue, internal or external, that kicks off the whole cascade of lustful thoughts. They are the little sparks that start the forest fire. And for many of us, we're living in a forest soaked in petrol. External triggers are often obvious. A specific type of content on social media, certain TV shows or films, or even just scrolling through dating apps out of boredom. It could be the very act of being alone with your computer with no clear task. Internal triggers are more subtle. They are feelings. Boredom is a massive one. When your mind isn't engaged, it will go looking for a stimulus, and cheap dopamine is the easiest thing to find. Stress is another big one. When you're stressed, the part of your brain responsible for long-term thinking and impulse control gets weaker, making you far more likely to give in to short-term urges. Loneliness, anxiety, or even just being tired can also be triggers. So, your first mission is to become a detective of your own mind. For the next week, grab a notebook. Every single time you feel that urge pull you away from your focus, stop and jot down the answers to 3 questions. What was I doing the moment before the thought appeared? E.g., scrolling Instagram, looking at a boring spreadsheet. What was I feeling the moment before? E.g., bored, stressed, tired, lonely. What was the specific cue? E.g., an image, a memory, a feeling of emptiness. Do this without judgment. You're a scientist collecting data. After a week, you'll have a clear map of your personal triggers. You will see the patterns. Maybe it's that 3 p.m. energy slump. Maybe it's late at night when your willpower is at its lowest. Once you have this data, you become an architect. You start strategically redesigning your world to get rid of these triggers. If social media is a trigger, be ruthless. Unfollow every account that doesn't actively inspire or educate you. Use app timers or blocker extensions. Make it inconvenient. If pornography is a problem, take decisive action. Install robust blocking software on all your devices. Add friction. The goal is to make it such a faff to access that by the time you could get to it, the urge will have passed, and you'll be making a cup of tea instead. Remember, these tools are a support, not a complete cure, and might need to be paired with other behavioral changes. If boredom is your trigger, plan your downtime. Instead of defaulting to mindless scrolling, have a pre-made list of high-quality leisure activities. Read a book. Listen to a brainy podcast. Go for a walk without your phone. If you're obsessing over a specific person, set firm boundaries. This might mean limiting contact or avoiding their social media. You are protecting your focus. Some people will say, but you can't avoid everything. Triggers are everywhere. And they're right. You can't create a perfectly sterile bubble. But that's not the point. The point is to control what you can control. It's about winning battles before they even start. Why choose to walk through a minefield every day when you can clear most of the mines? Creating a disciplined environment isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. The freedom to use your mind for what you want to use it for. It frees up huge reserves of mental energy you were previously wasting on fighting temptations you put in your own way. This is the foundation. Once it's secure, you're ready for the attacks that inevitably slip through. Section 4. The Disruption Protocol. How to reclaim your mind instantly. Even with a sorted environment, intrusive thoughts will still pop up. This is normal. The difference now is that you'll have a plan. You won't be caught off guard. You'll have a clear, step-by-step protocol to execute the moment a thought tries to hijack your attention. This isn't fighting. It's pattern disruption and energy redirection. I call it the Disruption Protocol, and it has 3 immediate steps. Technique 1. The 5-second acknowledgement and physical pivot. The moment the thought appears, your first move is counterintuitive. Don't fight it. Simply acknowledge its presence, calmly and without judgment. Label it, like a scientist observing a specimen. In your head, say something like, a lustful thought, or noticing a feeling of desire. This act of non-judgmental acknowledgement diffuses the thought's power. A thought you fight is an enemy. A thought you observe is just data. By labeling it, you create a tiny bit of space between you, the observer, and the thought, the event. You're reminding yourself you are not your thoughts. Now, you have a very short window, about 5 seconds, before that thought hooks into your reward system. You must act within this window. You must perform an immediate physical pivot. A physical pivot is a sudden, deliberate change in your physical state. It has to be an action that breaks your current posture and engages your body. While it's not a magical cure-all, it's a fantastic way to break a pattern of rumination. Here are some examples. If you're sitting, stand up. Immediately, drop and do 5 or 10 push-ups or squats. Walk briskly to the other side of the room and back. Go and drink a full glass of cold water. Stretch your arms over your head and hold. Why is this so effective? Because it yanks your brain out of the internal world of thought and grounds it in the physical reality of now. You can't be lost in a fantasy while your muscles are burning from push-ups. By taking control of your body, you seize control of your mind. It's a hard reset that can short-circuit the neural pathway that was about to fire. Technique 2. The cognitive reframe and verbal declaration. You've done the physical pivot. Your mind is momentarily clear. Now, you must immediately fill that mental space with your own intention before the old thought creeps back in. This is the cognitive reframe. You're going to change the label you attach to the thought. Instead of bad or tempting, reframe it as something far less dramatic, unproductive, a distraction, not aligned with my goals. This is a core technique from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which strips the thought of its emotional power and reduces it to a simple, practical problem. It's no longer a moral drama. It's a productivity issue. Immediately after this reframe, you must make a verbal declaration. Speak your primary intention out loud. Yes, out loud, even if the cat gives you a funny look. Your voice has a powerful psychological effect on your own brain. Say your mission. For example, my focus is on finishing this proposal. I am building a business to create freedom for my family. I am committed to writing 500 words right now. Say it with conviction. This does 2 things. First, it makes your goal real. Second, it reinforces your identity. You are verbally aligning yourself with the person you want to be, the disciplined creator, the focused entrepreneur. You are reminding your brain what the real prize is. You're pointing your motivational systems back towards that earned dopamine. Technique 3. The productive replacement and energy transmutation. You've acknowledged the thought, pivoted your body, reframed the thought, and declared your mission. The final step is to channel the leftover energy. An urge is a surge of energy. The amateur lets this energy fizzle out into guilt or distraction. The professional harnesses it. You will transmute this raw energy into productive action. This is the principle of replacement in action. Now, immediately dive into a challenging task for a set time. Set a timer for 15 or 25 minutes. The key is that the task cannot be passive. It must demand your full concentration. If you're a writer, open a blank page and brainstorm. If you're a coder, tackle a tricky bug. If you're an artist, start sketching. If you're studying, do a set of difficult practice problems. By doing this, you are taking that raw, undirected energy and giving it a productive target. You are teaching your brain a new pathway, creating a new habit loop. Urge dash, disruption dash, productive action dash, reward, a sense of accomplishment. When you do this successfully even once, you prove to yourself that you are in control. When you do it repeatedly, you rewire your brain. The intrusive thoughts start to lose their power because they no longer lead to fantasy. Instead, they become the starting pistol for a period of intense, focused work. You turn your greatest distraction into a cue for your greatest productivity. Section 5. Building long-term resilience. The disruption protocol is your emergency toolkit. But to truly solve this, you need to build a mind that is fundamentally more resilient to distraction. This is about playing the long game. Strategy 1. Mindfulness as mental weight training. One of the most powerful tools is mindfulness. Now, this isn't anything mystical. Mindfulness is simply mental weight training. It's the practice of paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judging. Think about the disruption protocol. A key step was to acknowledge the thought without judgment. Mindfulness is the daily practice that builds that muscle. Here's a simple way to start. For just 5 minutes a day, sit somewhere quiet. Close your eyes and bring your full attention to the feeling of your breath. Your mind will wander. That's not a failure. That is the opportunity to do a rep. The moment you notice your mind has wandered, gently, and without any self-criticism, guide your attention back to your breath. That's it. Every time you bring it back, you've done one mental push-up. You are strengthening your attentional control. Over time, this practice changes your relationship with your thoughts. You begin to see them not as commands, but as clouds passing in the sky of your awareness. You are the sky, not the clouds. An intrusive thought might be a big, dark storm cloud, but with practice, you gain the ability to simply notice it and let it drift by. Strategy 2. Purpose as the ultimate shield. Distractions, especially cheap dopamine ones, thrive in a vacuum of purpose. If you don't have a compelling answer to the question, "What am I doing with my focus today?" then your brain will inevitably search for the easiest alternative. A powerful sense of purpose is the ultimate shield. When you are fired up about your mission, distractions become an annoying irrelevance. They're a fly buzzing in your ear while you're building a skyscraper. This goes beyond just having goals. A goal is, I want to make 6 figures. A purpose is, I want to build a business that solves this specific problem for people and creates a better life for my family. A purpose has an emotional why attached. Take some time with a journal and get crystal clear on your purpose. Ask yourself, what is my mission right now? What impact do I want to have? What work makes me feel alive? What is so important to me that I am willing to be disciplined to achieve it? Write it down, refine it, reread it every morning. Your purpose becomes the standard. When an intrusive thought appears, you can measure it against your purpose and ask, does this move me closer to my mission or further away? The answer will always be clear. A strong why gives you the power to choose the earned dopamine of progress over the cheap dopamine of distraction every single time. Strategy 3. Journaling for strategic self-awareness. You can't improve what you don't measure. Journaling is the ultimate tool for strategic self-awareness and reinforcing your new habits. This isn't a Dear Diary exercise. This is a performance review with yourself. At the end of each day, take 5 minutes to answer a few simple questions in a notebook. On a scale of 1 to 10, how was my focus today? When did I get distracted? What was the trigger? Did I use the disruption protocol? How did it feel? What's one thing that worked well today? What's one adjustment I can make tomorrow? This simple practice forces you to be honest. It reinforces your learning by making you analyze your successes and failures. It helps you spot subtle patterns. Most importantly, it keeps this whole endeavor at the front of your mind, solidifying your commitment. These 3 long-term strategies, mindfulness, purpose, and journaling, are what transform this from a temporary fix into a permanent change. They build the character of someone who is in command of their own mind. Now you have the tools, both the emergency protocol and the long-term strategies. The next step is to put them into practice. But you don't have to go it alone. So do one thing right now. In the comments below, share your biggest takeaway. Which technique resonated with you the most? The physical pivot? The idea of earned dopamine? When you comment, have a read of what others have shared. You'll quickly see you're not the only one fighting for your focus. Let's support each other. Let's wrap this up. For too long, you may have seen this struggle as a personal failing or a source of shame. Today, that story ends. We've reframed the problem. This is a performance issue, not a moral one. Lust is an energy leak to be plugged, not an enemy to be fought in a bloody war of willpower. Fighting thoughts only makes them stronger. The path to victory is not suppression, but but intelligent redirection. You now have a 3-step disruption protocol for when an urge strikes. Acknowledge and pivot, reframe and declare, and replace with action. This is your emergency response system. And you have the long-term strategies to build a resilient mind, daily mindfulness, a crystal clear purpose, and strategic journaling. Stopping lust from destroying your focus isn't about becoming a passionless robot. It's about becoming the master of your own mind. It's about choosing, deliberately, where you direct your most precious resources, investing your energy into building the life you actually want, rather than letting it get siphoned away by cheap, fleeting distractions. Your focus is your single most valuable asset. It will fuel every success in your life. Don't let it be stolen. Reclaim it, protect it, and use it to build the life you were meant to live. The power is in your hands. Start today